we're back to overtraining all over again. It's just, it is what it is. I mean, if you look at that year that Sexton went one DNF, being in the Florida heat and humidity, people don't realize you don't recover. There's a reason why Tomac, yes, you could argue altitude, right? Train high, race low, but this inability to recover from heat and humidity. And I live in Florida. I'm the first one to tell you, I've grown up here my entire life. The heat and humidity becomes progressively harder and harder to recover from. Add on top of that, we're midway through a season. So you have that residual fatigue. Let's not even bring up the residual from Supercross that they didn't get a chance to recover from, right into a hot, humid summer. And you're training here and you're under this mindset that, hey, I've done it with all. And what really rubs me the wrong way is when somebody gets themselves in a position that if you don't win, it's your fault. If you do win, it's me. That's bullshit.
That's fair.
That's absolute bullshit. And so now the idea that TLD has pulled their guys out of here, better recovery, maybe a different environment, whatever it may be. And, you start looking at certain people. Well, Anderson's not there anymore. Now Cooper Webb's not there anymore. What's interesting is if you look at all the guys that are training at the same facility, the Lawrence brothers, Cooper Webb, Savachi, they all look like they're relatively fatigued. It blows my mind.
But devil's advocate, I mean, Anderson really hasn't done anything since he left there, and and Webb has taken a real dive this summer. So, I mean, if I'm just playing devil's advocate, I know what you're talking about. But if you look at the immediate results, what do you say?
In which regards? I apologize.
Anderson hasn't done anything since he left the Baker's factory.
But I think that's, and this is not a dig on Aldon. This isn't a dig on Jason as much as it, and I know we get some nice keyboard experts that say, well, it's not a dig. And then they go, well, if that's not a dig, what the hell is it, Rob? Okay. Jason Anderson.
It's like saying with all due respect.
Whoa, I said with all due respect. That doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want to say to me. Sure as heck does. No, it doesn't mean that. It's in the Geneva Convention. Look it up.
Exactly. Jason Anderson, when he won that Supercross title, made a boatload of money. He went back to, I just want to have fun. I'm not saying he didn't want that number one plate. He tried hard. But again, Aldon took credit for Jason winning the plate. And then when he didn't win the plate, it's because, well, you're not still paying me a ridiculous amount of money. So it's an interesting play on the game because, of course, then Cooper comes in and gets it. And, of course, everyone's like, oh, all Aldon. It's all about Aldon. It's bullshit. The bottom, to your point, though, Jason hasn't done much, in my opinion, because he doesn't give a shit. He started the team Fried. He's back having fun racing his dirt bike. He's still trying to connect with Bobby Hewitt. He doesn't, this is going to sound really crazy to some of the listeners, but he's at a point in his career, even after he won that Supercross title, he's not hurting for money. Now, I don't know how much is enough.
It looks pretty good.
But what does Jason want? What does Jason enjoy? I want to be competitive. I want to race well. He's still making a shitload of money, gear deals, manufacturer deals, bonuses, and he can have fun. Come on. I don't think it's a program issue. I think Jason Anderson's like, that doesn't fit me. Just like it didn't fit James Stewart. Just like it hasn't fit a couple guys that said, I'm not doing that program. It's not like they fall to 12th place. Yeah, they might settle in 3-4, but hey, have more fun, make 20% less. Because you got to remember, we're talking 7-figure salaries here. Take a few percentage points less, but have fun and balance and live how you want instead of some drill sergeant telling you got to count almonds and not eat gluten. You're going to tell Jason Anderson that's an environment he's going to succeed under? That's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I've always said there's a place for the Baker's factory because you can't argue it's got a lot of results. The thing about Aldon's program is you take a guy like Anderson who probably didn't have a structure whatsoever, and to get to that higher level, he almost needed somebody, and I won't say the word whipping because I got in trouble by saying that last time, motivating these guys, just motivating these guys to do it. And there's some guys that need it. Brock Tickle, when he went there, he didn't need it. He was plenty motivated and plenty fit. I think that program took away from a guy like Brock Tickle. Ryan Dungey, I really don't think it helped Ryan Dungey. It helped him mentally because now he felt like he had it mentally, but I don't think physically it actually did anything for him other than wear him down. But when you take Malcolm is a guy who's probably going to fight Aldon on structure, and he needs a little bit of structure, and I think he'll do good. But that's my opinion on that type of a program. I don't think it's a miracle. You're paying a lot of money for that facility. I don't know. Yeah.
To me, and this is no disrespect to you. Again, I'm gonna throw.
Whoa, I said with all due respect. That doesn't mean you get to say whatever you want to say to me. Sure as heck does. No, it doesn't mean that. It's in the Geneva Convention. Look it up.
Throw that out there so the keyboard guys can go crazy. No disrespect, but I'm gonna throat punch you. What I find interesting is why are we saying that the best in the world need structure? I'm sorry. Does it take
because every professional athlete needs structure, coach. Look at look at these boxers that have 4 coaches.
I understand that, but look at the amount of structure that these guys are under. They've got a team manager, they've got a suspension specialist, they got a tires. They're structured to the nth degree.
But they're not though.
Well,
sometimes these teams up until recently would hire them and say, hey, here's a bike. We'll see you on race day.
But here's what I find interesting. And I'm going to kind of contradict myself, but it's necessary. So what? Because you signed a huge contract with me and you've committed to me, now I can control you? Because I can tell you, dealing with professionals, when they're done hearing your voice, when they're done and they essentially get to where they just want to do whatever the hell they want to do, they're done. They're moving on. So that's what I think is so interesting. And this is no disrespect to anyone that has signed a big contract for this program. We're now talking that Jason Anderson is like, I'm out, I'm done. Cooper Webb, I'm done, I'm out. Okay. So they say that there's structure, but there's only structure once there's a huge financial commitment where now I've handcuffed you, and they do it for just long enough. And then they go, you know what? It's not about the money. I'm out. Keep the fucking money. I'm out. And that's what I think is so interesting when you zoom out of this, because I don't think, as a human performance coach, I don't think I should ever get paid unless the professional is making bonus money. I should be paid as a byproduct of the success, but that's what I have a problem with our sport. They go, oh, but Aldon brings structure. Come on, guys, you're not 11 years old.
Though, coach.
But once they sign these huge contracts, then all of a sudden his voice, everything he says is gospel. Well, you've clearly not been around elite athletes very long in your life, because these elite athletes, they're like, you can't tell me what to do.
Hold on. What you said right there
is
exactly what he had. I don't know if he has it. He had an aura where everybody that went there became a champion. So these people listen to him. What you said, you can't take a professional athlete and tell them what to do, because they know they're a professional athlete. They've gotten a long ways on their own.
Yeah.
And while just like you tell a kid, his dad could tell him the same thing all day long. You bring in the neighbor and the neighbor tells him and he goes, oh, and you're like, what the fuck?
All right. Well, let me play devil's advocate. If you've ever met Adam C's dad, Alan, you're never going to meet somebody that had more structure in his life. Ken Roxon, his dad was structured to the T.
And just like hearing a parent, maybe after 3-4 years, these guys are like, I'm out on Aldon,
But Aldon provides structure. I don't buy it.
Okay. I'll leave that one alone.
Because it goes back, like you say, does it require somebody signing a huge contract to say, okay, well, now that I've paid you, I might as well listen? Because if you look at Cooper was there for a couple of years, gets a couple number ones. He's like, look, I don't need you to tell me what to do. James Stewart, lots of money. You're not going to tell me what to do. And the list goes on and on and on. With that success, what ends up coming with it? I'm done listening to you. That's what I think is such an interesting paradigm, because, they need structure to get there, but then they get tired of the structure because they get burnout, they get run down into the ground, their health. Well, that's okay, because we have a funnel of 4 more behind you.
Well, and that's where you can talk about the program itself. I think in certain situations it's beneficial.
Yeah. I just think it's a little bit crazy when you say that at this level of racing, people say they need structure. Maybe accountability is one thing, but if I'm getting paid by an OEM, isn't that enough responsibility to get
Coach,
your ass out of bed?
You're talking about homeschooled kids who've been spoon-fed and gone to the track and told every day how great they are.
But there is nothing new in the realm of training. There's no special interval to rest cycle. There's no special ratio of volume to aerobic and anaerobic.
You know that, and I know that, and most people know that. These kids don't understand, and you've been around the bro science around there.
Yourself last week, you were going to do it this week. But like any true curl bro, you're looking to do a workout without the work.
You introduce a new hot dog with a different flavor and tell them it's not a hot dog. And if one guy says it's cool, all the people in the, oh my God, everyone, next thing you know, everyone's eating hot dogs in the pits. Like, it's just a follow me atmosphere. And like I said, for a little while, Aldon had that special sauce where whatever he touched turned to gold. And it wasn't that he was doing anything in particular other than just a basic training program, which you can say he overworks them or not. People believed and they listened to him. That was what the deal was. He was taking these guys who, for example, like when I was going to college, when I first went, I went because my parents wanted me to. They paid. I didn't do shit. I goofed around. After I was done racing and I went to college and I paid my own. Oh, I did it. When I paid my own, you go. And essentially when he has to pay Aldon all that money, it was like kind of like when I paid my college. Is that what it takes? Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah, but again, where I'm going to politely disagree is go back to Weston Pike. Go back to the guys.
Well, okay, not everybody needs it.
No. But that's what I think is such an interesting. The industry has drank this Coca-Cola syrup. Like there's something special on that side of the fence, and they throw it under the bracket of, well, it creates structure, it creates accountability. These guys that are at that level, and I know there are some guys that, that have had huge opportunities and squandered it. Here's my point. The guys that squandered it, that didn't want to invest in training. There's been physiologists in the sport from Jeff Spencer all the way down to the current, right? So it's not like the resources weren't available out there and they had the money, but they chose not to go there. Okay. So then they go there for, the guy that jumps out at my mind is Josh Grant. Phenomenal talent, had lots of money from California, could have gotten and tapped into any resource. You're going to tell me that structure would have worked for him?
If he bought in.
But that's my point. So you're going to tell me that Cooper Webb needs structure. You're going to tell me that Ken and
he did at one point when he was a little bit heavier, and like he admitted himself, he didn't do as much work as he thought he did.
But that's all right. So let's just freeze that comment right there. You could have gone out and found the resources for 1/100th of the price and got the same results.
I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing that. I'm not arguing all I'm saying is the reason it works is because people believe. That's it. It's not a special program unless you talk about something.
What I think is interesting, if you're going to say it works as a percentage of what, 10 guys, one guy, there can only be one winner, right? But if you use the percentages, you get enough people in your bake, eventually the percentages work for you. And like you say, the industry spins it to the point like you can't do it without it, which is a bullshit statement. And then you get enough momentum in it, and then you work the percentage of the odds. If you win, it's because of me. And if you lose, it's because of you, because these other guys, this guy won, but you four losers didn't do enough.
Brock Tickle thought he needed that program. How crazy was that, Coach? Brock Tickle. I would love to talk to Brock.
Did Brock say those words?
I thought that, if I remember correctly, I would like to hear, but I thought he wanted to be a part of that program because he felt like that was a missing piece.
I would like to know how much, and again, I haven't spoken to Brock about it.
You talk to Brock more than I do. Ask him about that. But he's a perfect case study of a guy who clearly didn't need the program. His issues had nothing to do with fitness. He's never been a guy who didn't work hard. So him going to the Baker factory adds nothing.
Well, that was a contract obligation. I mean, that's the thing that people don't understand, or maybe they do understand now because it's come to light. But again, I just have a hard time. I would never, ever want an athlete to have to work with me because an OEM says, this is the guy. Let me earn your trust. Let me show you the results. And you go, oh, but Aldon has results. He has more burnout and lack of success than he does success. That's a fact. If you added up how many total riders have cut him a check since his days working with Ricky Carmichael, if you look at how many guys didn't win and how many guys did win, his percentage is going to be off. Because let's go back. Aldon had Ricky, X amount of years, straight to James, straight to Villopoto, straight to Roxon. I don't even know that you even count
James because that was a completely failed project.
He gets credit for it. He gets credit for it.
I don't think he should get credit for it.
That I want to stick to the point though. If you're going to take how many riders has come into his funnel and how many champions, there's only been Ricky for 25 years, James, Villopoto, Roxon and AC,
Dungy.
then to Dungy, then to Cooper Webb. That's 7 guys. And he's got 20 of the last years of championships. 7 champions out of 25, 30 guys. The Jake Weimers of the world, these other guys that worked with him. And I'm not an anti-Aldon guy. I might take Aldon's face and head off the subject. I'm talking about the mindset of these guys need structure. I don't provide structure for my clients. What I do
You're
is
trying to tell me Jason Lawrence didn't need structure.
You couldn't put structure on Jason Lawrence.
But that's what I'm saying. When you get someone who believes, like when I say guys need structure, I'm talking about Jason Lawrence, Josh Grant. I'm trying to think of some other guys that were Ron Lachine, like
needing it and working with it are 2 different issues.
Well, and
Rob Tickle didn't need it.
No, I think we're talking the same thing here, Coach.
Yeah, totally agree. And I don't want the listeners to get frustrated with that. I keep bringing it back around. It's just when someone says to me that Aldon brings structure, I'm like, what?